Here's John, defender of black people. Here we go.
All right. Smelly Negro. I love that name. Which hockey movie chant, I swallow knickers come? No idea.
Whoa, John. Whoa.
Nerderotic.com.
I'm debating on which video to go to next.
What are we gonna do?
Campea.
So many.
Let's do Campea. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's do Campea.
This is such a disingenuous video from him. It drives me crazy because the whole point is he's trying to defend against all of the anger for the Odyssey. Okay. The problem is everything he's saying is completely disingenuous. He is completely leaving shit out, and he's trying to build a false narrative about it. Fuck him.
He's also talking like an NPC. All of these points from about 7 years ago that people have already rebutted, but he's like, no, I've just found them on the internet. Trust me.
Well, and he also comes at it with that Campea style of movies are made with directors and producers, and they shoot it on digital or film sometimes, and the actors recite he says the most basic shit. Like he's just like, I am the first one to break this down for everybody.
They have made a very simple, incredibly narrow calculation in their minds. Lupita Nyong'o is black. Therefore, the Odyssey
I can't
is a
disagree with
movie.
this.
That is the entire equation for them.
Go back.
Her skin color.
John, we agree, John. John.
Oh,
put that MAGA hat on, baby. Let's go. There we go.
He's completely missing the point with the people's complaints around that. It's like, I hate this argument. Oh, it's a fictional story. It's like, this is based off of oral tradition.
Yeah. We'll get there. We're building up to it.
Beginning, middle, and end of their critique. By condemning the film before seeing how her talent serves the story, they are openly admitting that her performance does not matter to them. The only thing they are concerned with
is not accurate.
I do see his eyes moving with the teleprompter that he's reading right now because this is going to be such a delicate thing for him to equate. She's black, so you hate it. You needed to fucking script this entire thing out. What a fucking soy-filled, big titty bitch you are, John. It's also I see you wearing those fucking loose sweatshirts because you're big old man titties. We see it. We see it, John.
It's also a massive straw man of people's objections. This is a red flag, right?
Yes.
And it leads to so much more nuanced criticism that is completely just ignoring saying, you guys are racist. So basically, that's what it's trying to render this down to. It's like, all of your arguments, all your problems, no. You just see black person and you dislike it because of that. And that's not what people are saying. But that's what
I don't like her because she's ugly as well, bro.
I was gonna say, like, maybe you could like put that on me, not on everybody who's saying things about the Odyssey, though.
And she's not good looking, for fuck's sake.
That is a massive red flag, or black flag, shall we say. But it's not simply just about a black person in the role. It's about what that means, what that represents, and the other changes that in all likelihood will be made because we've seen this over and over and over again. Now, I do like the simplicity of it. Lupita black movie bad, just like John Campea gay, this video bad. I think we can start simplifying things like that. I'm down.
Yeah, the issue I have here is that he's trying to break down all of these points and give all of these details, but he completely leaves out that the Academy has put a mandate out that if you don't cast more diversity in your movies, we're not going to acknowledge you. The Hollywood has put a mandate out about that, which is why so many people are rejecting this shit. It's not because people are just like blindly against diversity. It's because they're against forced diversity for agenda-driven nonsense. That is why so many people are negative again. He leaves all of that context out. That means it's completely disingenuous, and he's lying to his entire audience. So
it's fine to be like, I'm against this character being black. I mean, literally, like, if I put out my biopic of Martin Luther King with Ryan Gosling, he's gonna be like, well, I'm against this because he's white. But he's doing a great performance. No, but he's white and it doesn't make sense. And so
but the thing, and I agree. I agree with you, but it's like it's the reason why when Batman 89 came out, there was not some big uprising because Harvey Dent was black, because there was not this agenda-driven nonsense around it. The reason that it gets so much backlash now is because we're so tired of seeing it forced into every single aspect. And there's these agendas that the Academy and Hollywood and the actors and the directors and interviews are talking about how important all this shit is. And it's just gotten to a point where people are just fed up with it.
On the merits, though, it's perfectly valid to say that a character is bad, an actor is bad because of the intrinsic properties that they have.
Yeah,
it's a perfectly valid argument. Like, you know, if Batman was being played by a disabled person in a fucking wheelchair, I would say yes, that's bad because this person is disabled. Not that it's bad because to be disabled. I mean, it probably is, obviously, but like they're not a bad person or anything. But it just makes it inappropriate casting.
If Helena Troy was cast as a 300-pound Landwell, we'd have the same problem.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's asking as if you need to defend the status quo. No, that you have to give a reason why you think it's worth changing. Hollywood has a problem with the most beautiful woman in the world being blonde-haired and blue-eyed. Yes. That's why she had to be changed. But you have to defend why you're doing that. You have to give the reason why you wanted it changed. I don't need to defend why I just want it the same it's always been.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Disproves because racism.
My argument's always
well, if they said, look, I changed it because I'm a racist, at least that would be a
my argument's always been that if you really want to be representative of the real world, put 300-pound Shaniqua in the movie, let her have 6 or 7 fucking kids, and let her cuss everybody out and beat the shit out of her kids. That's your representation for the black woman, okay? So, but they want to present this, false bullshit, and everybody knows they see right through it, so...
She actually wanted to go. She wanted to go to Troy because they had a better food stamp program. That's the reason.
Well, apparently Greece has H-1B visas, so that's good. Yeah, like Disbruce said, he has to defend his position, which he doesn't. It's just you should accept it, and I don't have to accept it. I really don't, and I don't have to be quiet about it.
Plus, your framing is wrong.
They make these decisions to make it critic proof. I mean, we've been saying that for years, and that's exactly what they're doing.
So let me take a second and address some of the objections some of these folks might raise. Of course, the people leading this backlash don't want to admit that their objections are rooted in prejudice, so they construct elaborate excuses.
Let me build a straw man. Let me build a straw man for somebody that I'm going to destroy it.
That was him just. That was him just saying, "Look, they're all racist, but they can't admit it." So
yeah,
that was the.
Is it possible to prejudge something that's been around for 2,800 years?
To justify their...
Also, we're judging it off of the trailer and everything that anybody that's been involved
with. You're supposed to judge it off of. Yeah.
So that's what we're judging it off of.
Let's address the 2 most common arguments they throw out at a project like this. The first defense mechanism is almost always the Black Panther argument.
Which is accurate.
Sargon, you said Martin Luther King if he was white.
He's talking to you, Sargon.
Yeah, and I agree with him myself, weirdly.
Standard internet talking point that people think is a massive checkmate. They'll say something like, oh yeah? Well, how would you like it if they cast a white actor to play Black Panther? Yeah. You'd be furious. It's the exact same thing.
Because it is.
Except it isn't the same thing.
It actually
is. This argument...
Okay. I'd like to hear his explanation.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Argue why this is okay.
Oh, I can't wait to hear
fundamentally misunderstands how narrative and character development work in storytelling.
Okay.
In fiction,
95%. Pause. What does the casting of a character that's supposed to look like what they're supposed to look like in the adaptation have to do with narrative and character development? You've already lost the character development by miscasting the person.
Yeah, it's not the character.
Bro, because black people are victims, so you can't just replace them with a white person, because if you're black, that is the most essential lived experience that you've ever had, so you could never replace them with a white person, because every black person in fictional history that you could adapt, them being black is in their view, it means that is like a core part of who they are.
You know who's
white
never been around
treatment somehow.
You know who's never been around black people in his fucking life? John Campea.
Actually,
no wonder he's so happy.
We know what he thinks about them. We've seen a few clips before.
Transformers 2.
Well, not even that.
Not even a video about the complaints about the lighter-skinned black guy that was cast to go play Black Panther, and Black Twitter lost their shit.
Yeah.
Now,
so it absolutely does matter.
It does matter a lot.
But also, it matters that she's white because they believe in things like white privilege. Helen of Troy is meant to be the most beautiful woman in the world, right? It's because she's blonde haired and blue eyed, because back in the day, just like now, actually, those were very, very highly prized characteristics. If she doesn't have that and she's not the most beautiful woman in the world, why the fuck are we launching all these ships?
Do not have their core narratives, motivations, or personal identities directly tied to their specific ethnicity.
Yes, they
what the hell is he saying? So he's trying to say a character is solely defined by, say, what they say and what they do, not what they look like. And it's like, no. What they look like actually has a very important element to the characterization. A character's appearance informs so much and what people will perceive and bring to the like the interpretation.
And that would have mattered a lot in the context of this story.
Yes,
exactly. Where Helen is from. It
kind of like is really important because it started a war.
And that's just like making a movie about the Zulu and casting a bunch of white people as Zulus. I mean, it's very much relevant.
Just stick it with the Odyssey. I mean, again, like this would matter in the context of the story.
Well, what's really interesting about what he's saying here, he is just trying to say that these people don't understand. They fundamentally misunderstand a core thing about characterization and story. And then his answer reveals that he has a fundamental misunderstanding of character and story by trying to say that their appearance doesn't have an important aspect to their character. You retard!
It's not even just that. Like, you are a product of your culture. That makes you what you believe. Emily Wilson is a product of modern day culture, which is why she decided to change this in the first place. If it wasn't Greek, they wouldn't have imposed it with the same values they did now.
No, of course not. Because that is a replaceable culture because it's coded white. Robert Meyer Burnett's the most patient man in the world because he has to co-host a show with this guy who knows shit about shit. And you could see Robert sometimes go, at some of his takes. Particularly that physical media one he just had, which I know how Robert feels about physical media, which was fucking funny to watch.
Look, I think we got to get back to basics. I think we got to get the real John Campea back. Okay. Somewhere along the way, he got lost in the wilderness. We need to bring this man back because 15 years ago, whenever this was how John Campea felt about representation in movies.
And the twins did that. They are the new Jar Jar Binks. They are the most stereotypically racist characters I've seen on screen in a long time. I was trying to explain the twins to somebody, and basically it's this. The twins are two hood niggas that hobby ridiculous jive are illiterate. And I'm not making that up. They actually reveal that in the movie.
Helen of Troy is hood niggas.
They talk like this, and they have buck teeth, and one of them has big buck gold tooth and stuff like that.
Wow! John! Wait, this is a classic. He's so good. Hold on, John. You're telling me that they were illiterate? They didn't speak English very well. They had big old buck teeth, gold teeth, and you saw a black person?
Yeah.
Let's go, John Campea! Yeah!
But what this shows, what is John doing here? He's playing defense for a film, and what is he doing now? He's playing defense for a film, and is reaching for whatever thing that justify it, because this guy is a shill. All right? That's basically what it's coming down to.
I hunted, Rob. I hunted for Tobey Maguire's dick.
He did. I wonder if you ever found it.
He did find it.
I think this guy needs a hobby.
Hey, credit because this Transformers 2 review is still on YouTube unedited. All right, so credit where credit's due.
Credit. Listen. I also got to credit the guy for backing up RMB when everybody piled on during the riots. And,
dude, I've been watching John Campea for a long time. He hates my guts, but I've been watching him for a long time. So,
can we go back 5 seconds to get the context of what I'm saying? Because this is stupid. And
a writer might describe a character's physical appearance a certain way in a book or a myth, but that description rarely serves an important load-bearing pillar of who that character is, what drives them, or how the
Load-bearing is the giveaway of ChatGPT usage right now. Load-bearing is like a keyword in all of new AIs. That's a giveaway. He didn't know. Oh, that's bad.
And also, you could make this argument in theory about a lot of different race swaps if you want. In this case, the physical appearance is so extraordinarily important to the entire basis of this person as a character. Like, it is the exact wrong person to make this argument about when we're talking about Helen of Troy.
I mean, because there are some characters that, are lesser characters and they're not that important to the overall plot. But if you have a core, like main character, right, their appearance is very important. Are they attractive or are they unattractive? What is their background? Okay, that informs so much. The fact that he is trying to just use bullcrap kind of gobbledygook, pseudo-intellectual language to justify something so retarded.
ChatGPT.
The AI did it. Yeah.
The AI is used like. It's like, are you paying attention? And it's really interesting because another aspect of this is him basically trying to say that, so everything is interchangeable. Your appearance is interchangeable.
It doesn't matter.
Your gender is interchangeable.
It doesn't matter, Shad.
Like, exactly.
That's the argument, is it doesn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, why change it?
I'm sharing my screen. This right here symbolizes your argument, John. Everybody's reaction. Jerry is Helen.
Now this is a great meme, right? This is a great meme because it hits on the most important of points, which is verisimilitude, right? Is it if you want me to be someone who can suspend my disbelief and engage with your artistic endeavor, and you make it fucking ridiculous, like this meme is saying, then obviously suddenly I don't feel like I'm invested in your world. And so you can come out with all the hoity-toity, high-minded, but it's actually not relevant in this character. I don't give a shit. I'm taken out of your fucking movie now. I think, what is this bullshit? Yeah. I don't want to watch it if Helen of Troy is A, not from Troy, and B, ugly as sin. I'm sorry,
She's supposed to be Spartan. She's from Sparta.
Correct.
Like it is specifically, she is from Sparta. She was stolen from there. It's very like a big kind of point of the war.
Yes, massive plot point.
Like all the arguments are done as if Hollywood is in the authoritative position that you have to defend yourself against. And it's like, no, if you want my money, you have to please me. There shouldn't be a single person on Earth that would be able to doubt that Helen of Troy, whoever you cast, is a 10. And there are people on Earth that would be that hot. There should be none of this, she's a mid. No, everyone. And
if
the Hollywood of the 90s would have done
Helen of Troy, everyone would get it. Everyone would just be like, fair.
From the Naptown.
Yeah.
However, there are a few very distinct exceptions where a character's ethnicity is a core, inseparable part of their story, their motivations, and the entire narrative structure.
Batman.
Black Panther is the
He brings up Black Panther.
Wow.
So he just, they always bring up Black Panther, but it's kind of
he's doing it too.
So he just undercut his own fucking argument.
Yeah, he did.
But what he's trying to say is that Black Panther is the exception, not the norm. Well, no, most primary characters.
That's what ChatGPT is trying to say.
Yeah.
If anything, though, this would be more believable if you race swapped it, because then at least you'd be able to explain where they got the technology from.
But the thing is, he's trying to say this is an exception, not the standard, when it's the reverse. No, this is the standard, John. Most primary characters, unless they're tiny minority characters, most primary characters, yes, their ethnic background and how they look are a core part of that character. I'm trying to say it's nothing, and it's just what they say and what they do is retarded. But it's a disingenuous argument, and then that's what it all comes down to. He's making a straw man to try and ignore what. Yeah.
Wait till he brings up some more really good examples.
Yes, he does.
This exception. Stan Lee himself was very clear about why he created the character. Black Panther's entire identity is completely linked to his being the king and protector of Wakanda, a fictional,
being black.
Uncolonized.
Yes.
And Wakanda was fictional and uncolonized, but it was also just a regular country when Stan Lee and many other people who were involved created Black Panther. Wakanda wasn't. Well, yeah, there were well, they talk about isolations, but like Wakanda wasn't like the fucking Asgard. Like that came way later. Sorry to get too nerd on you, but
Black African nation hidden from the world. His race, his heritage, and his cultural background
that's why they
the entire foundation of the narrative and his motivations.
So it's only important if it's black.
Yeah, basically,
white character.
Yes,
that is not. None of that stuff is important because it is absolutely important for Helen of Troy to be White.
That's the same argument that he's making for the Odyssey because it's inherently Greek.
It's not important in Homer's Odyssey with a very specific country of origin and a specific time. That is the basis of most of Western civilization stories. Sorry, go on.
Yes.
Well, no, it goes back to exactly what Carl was saying in his video, why they race swap, right? It's because if you have an ethnic background that's white, male, straight, or anything like that, that's not important. And you can switch that but switch it to anything diverse. Oh, if it's a diverse background of some type, well, now that's core to the character. And how dare you switch? So we can see, the agenda at play.
It does make the reality of it is that, ethnic background is core to everyone ever because nobody is born outside of an ethnicity or a society. So actually, nobody is just interchangeable. And all he's really doing is making the argument that all casting should be sensitive to what the character actually is, rather than just be lazy and be lazy about it.
Mm-hmm. If you change Black Panther's ethnicity, the entire story of Wakanda, isolationism, completely collapses. Another clear example of this to me is Batman. Bruce Wayne isn't just a guy who happens to be white. Growing up with extreme generational white privilege
there it is.
Generational white privilege.
Oh my God. Growing up with that generational white privilege when he was very young, when his parents were murdered in front of him.
Yeah, it's such privilege.
Yeah, you guys think
he wasn't grown up?
Kids have privilege growing up right now. Yes, LeBron James kids have privilege. Yes. But we're not allowed to say black privilege because that would be racist. Apparently, I was talking to Gary about this. I think when we talking about this earlier, Gary. But the reason he brought Batman into it is because he needed some type of white counter argument, and this is all he could come up with.
It's fucking Batman.
This is all he could come up with. It's fucking insane.
And bear in mind, this is all in light that Helen of Troy's ethnicity doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's amazing. It's like,
and I'll tell you why it matters for Batman Bruce Wayne to be white is because Batman Bruce Wayne is fucking white.
Yes.
He's white. Deal with it. Don't change it. That's what he is.
Yeah, he doesn't like criminals. He's trying to stop
them. Imagine if they did a remake of The Godfather, right? And
they will.
It's super serious. And he opens his mouth and just starts talking with a really thick Australian accent. You'd be like, what?
I, as an Australian, would be offended at that.
But it would be so jarring. You'd be like, okay, and you'd be like, right, so all of these Italian Americans are like, good day, mate.
You know how I
do this at the barbecue of my daughter. You'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? I can't bring myself into this because you're making a farce of it. But it's the same with anything. It's the same with literally anything.
And let me just say, my disability is not their costume, okay? Let's make that clear.
They do a remake of Crocodile Dundee and he comes out, with the Italian fingers going, oh my God, mamma mia. You'd be like, what is this bullshit?
That's a knife.
That's not a knife. That's the Parmesan. Yeah.
But that's the disingenuous point. Like John is trying to say that these are just the exceptions. No, John, this is the norm. A character's an ethnic background and what they look like, that is a core part of their character.
It's crucial.
It's
crucial. Title structure of Gotham City is a defining load-bearing element of his background. It shapes how the city views him, how he operates within high society, the specific legacy of the Wayne family that he carries.
Yep.
His background is directly tied to the narrative and the reality.
Everything.
Script. You see his arm go down. He's scrolling down the script. Yeah.
It's interesting though that he says that his race and ethnicity is integral to how he goes through high society. You could almost say like the Odyssey, which is dealt with a load of people who are in high society dealing with nations and countries that maybe their race might be integral to it. Something in African men,
specifically in Greece.
His entire argument here can be applied to Helen of Troy, and he's oblivious.
What a retard!
Completely. Well, he didn't write it.
So. Mythological figure like Helen of Troy.
She's not narrative.
Because Batman was real.
No, Black Panther, is he real?
Troy is a real place.
I see titties.
Really?
I do too.
Ancient it is.
Little
is
JJ too.
the face that launched 1,000 ships. Has nothing to do with her being white or black. Her stories.
It has to do with the location she was stolen from, right?
Yes.
What did you say, John?
Well, hold on. It does, right? Because this is, I know that you wouldn't necessarily know based on all the promotion material and all this stuff. This is a Greek story. So what Helen of Troy is supposed to represent is the epitome of what the Greeks would have considered to be absolutely gorgeous and stunning and beautiful, because it's a Greek story. You know who they wouldn't have considered the most beautiful woman in the world? Like somebody that you could find working in a church's chicken. Okay, like that, they would not have considered that the epitome of beauty. Like that is why it is important. Now, the fact that this is a Greek story has been kind of forgotten in all of this when it comes to this adaptation, but that's why it's important. It's for the culture that created this story, what they viewed as beautiful.
And also, his argument about the white privilege and stuff like that is like, you're saying that there wasn't a certain amount of, privilege that Helen came from. Again, his whole argument of Batman can be applied to Helen of Troy, but is
yes,
missing that.
Paralleled captivating beauty whose existence sparks a massive, epic conflict between nations. Her motivation and her place in the narrative are defined by her beauty, her tragedy, and her presence, not the specific geographic undertone.
Look, I just want an entire video of him doing Hot or Not versus Lupita. I want to find out where he matches her against other women from around the world.
I can go ahead and tell you because I saw him in R&B talking about it the other day, and John Campea, quote, said, I would go to war for that face. That's what he said about Lupita. Yes, that's exactly what he said.
He'd be a very busy man.
Yes, he said, that's a face I'll go to war for.
If it helps, I agree with him, actually, but I'll just be on the other side.
I don't know if we can trust John Campea when it comes to judgments like that, because I feel like that face has borne a lot of loads, if you know what I mean. So I don't know if he's the best judge. Woke.
I really, honestly, it's mad that like for anyone who doesn't know, right? Everyone spoken about in the Iliad and the Odyssey is a king of somewhere, right? For anyone who doesn't know, right? Odysseus is the king of Ithaca. Menelaus is the king of Sparta. Agamemnon is the king of Mycenae. Ajax is the king of Salamis. Achilles is the king of, is it Phthia? Something like that. Everyone's a fucking king, right? So the idea of like privilege. Oh, I don't really think we need to talk about privilege. But if you're like, okay, and then Helen of Troy is this black woman. It's like, okay, how is it that the Greeks have black people ruling over them? Why are you saying this? What are you trying to tell us? Well, that's the point. Again, it's stealing the nobility from white people in their own story and giving it to other people. Ethnicity is a core part of everything that they're doing. And then he's like, well, don't make it about ethnicity, guys. No, it's about ethnicity for you. That's why you're doing it.
The studio made it about ethnicity when they chose.
Even Lupita did.
When Christopher Nolan chose to cast Lupita Nyong'o.
They all made it about ethnicity until you decide to make an objection to it.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, the studio had nothing to do with this, though. It's 100% Nolan. I know what you're saying, Gary, but this is Nolan was not pressured to do this by anybody.
No,
this was
100%
his decision, and him alone. 100%. And he doesn't get a pass for like, oh, he was bullied into it or whatever. No,
I think there is, but I don't think cultural pressure in Hollywood for it. I think there is cultural pressure.
I think so, but like even like Oppenheimer, like we all talked about like how that won all these awards and it didn't have like this big diversity push in it at all. Now, you could make the argument that he's never done this before, but he wins all the awards for Oppenheimer, and suddenly
the reason why he was eligible is behind the scenes.
That's my point, though. Yeah. So it wasn't in front of the camera. So let's just say he wins all these awards for Oppenheimer, and then they finally pull the big dog in the room, and they're like, now you're part of the crew. Now we want you to, that could be an argument, but still, I'm not going to give him that much credit. He made this decision, and he's going to live and die with that decision with how this movie performs.
I also don't think you can let the actors off, though, because both Lupita and John Legg have both spoken about the importance of their own cultures.
Yes.
And then the moment they have a chance to crap on somebody else's, they immediately throw all of that out the window, and they're more than happy to take the job. So I blame the actors as much as the people casting.
Was that Lupita clip, Steph, you can find it, of Wakanda and Black Panther. We'll play that in a second, but let's
see the way changing T'Challa's race would completely break the story of Black Panther. The second objection we see is people saying, look, there's nothing wrong with just wanting characters to stay the same as they have traditionally been described. I just want visual accuracy to the source material. And you know what? I actually agree with the core of that statement. It is completely okay to have a personal preference. If you grew up reading classic mythology and visualizing Helen of...
Yeah. Like it's not personal because this is the way it's always been.
It is a Greek story about Greeks. That's it.
This is no different than saying I would like gravity to exist in my stories.
Yeah. Well, if you grew up with gravity, maybe that's your personal prep. No.
You know, with this claim that like changing T'Challa, you know, T'Challa's race would change so much of the story and, you know, connotation because of the race, stuff like that. What has John said about the casting of Black Snape?
We're getting there. We're about to get there.
We're on our way. Yep. It's perfectly natural to have an ideal image in your mind of what that character should look like on screen.
Great. That's brilliant. Right? Because
literally just
no, that's totally fine because he is right. But that's because that's the nature of what an aesthetic experience is, right? You draw your personal subjective aesthetic experience from non-aesthetic criteria. The non-aesthetic criteria are the objective things that they put on the screen or sculpt into a sculpture or paint on a painting, right? And so if you are trying to invoke a particular aesthetic experience in a certain, well, anyone who watches, then you choose what you present to them to try and invoke that, right? That's what the artist is sending the message to the audience. And so it's like, right, okay, if they made Elliot Page Achilles like that, my aesthetic experience is colored by your choice of making it a 5'1" transgender woman, right? You are telling me something that I'm supposed to take from it. So if you make her an unattractive Black woman, then you are telling me I subjectively have to take that. And so my natural response being, well, I don't like the casting choice. I have a particular image in my mind of what would be and what wouldn't be acceptable. And he's like, well, that's your experience. It's like, yeah, I know. That's because that's the entire subject that we're discussing. It's like saying 2 + 2 = 4. It's like, yeah, I know. Well, that's just the objective quality of life. Yeah, I know. You know, that's the point. Like making the point. It's like, well, it's your subjective experience. Yes, of course it is. We're discussing art, you flid.
But also facts. Like he said, this is literally a location in the reality of our planet with certain people, and that is the fact. There's no changing that.
Well, that's the entire flaw. It treats it as if this is a debate. And it's like, no, I don't have to justify anything at all. It is, exactly. I don't care about you. You don't matter. And their entire thing is, no, I innately matter. It's like, no, you don't in this. You can matter in your own stories. You don't matter here. There is no reason why I need to include you. This story has specifically excluded you because as standards of which you are not a part of.
Correct.
However, that argument completely loses all of its validity and integrity the second you claim that a deviation from your preference completely destroys the entire movie.
Not a preference.
We all have preferences when it comes to film adaptations. We might prefer a character to have a certain hair color, wear a specific costume, or speak with a certain accent. But when a director changes a costume design or adapts a character's style, we don't form angry online mobs.
Because they're different arguments, John.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely have.
They're not the same.
I form angry online mobs.
People complain about MJ from Spider-Man not having red hair. She is definitely depicted
Daniel
as
Craig having blonde hair.
Yes. Look, I guarantee you, John Campea, somewhere throughout the course of his history, has had arguments about how the Superman suit looks.
Bro, right? John Campea whined about the prequels for a decade. Non-fucking stop.
Yep.
He went after people that were prequel fans. He has been doing that nonstop, whining constantly about it. And that's fine. He can do that. But now he wants to sit here and virtue signal and act like he's above that shit.
Well, if you want to equate, like somebody brought up in chat, if you want to equate Harry Potter not having green eyes to Lupita Nyong'o being Helen of fucking Troy, you're disingenuous or dumb.
Yeah, this is the entire point of everyone is conservative about the things they care about. Even the Mary Sue released an article titled, "No, I don't want a Black Buffy reboot."
Yeah,
the moment it comes to an IP that you care about, suddenly I want it exactly the same as it's always
And that was written by a Black woman, too.
Princess Weeks.
Also, there are parameters within which you will have an acceptable range of tolerance, right? Yes. Like, so, okay, in the Odyssey, Odysseus is actually portrayed as quite a sort of not short, but sort of not very tall, stocky, very hairy and muscular man. Yeah, okay, Matt Damon doesn't look terribly like it, but he's within a parameter of tolerance I would have for it. He's a fairly stocky. He's not very tall. He's not like dark haired, I guess, but okay, fair enough. I'll let that go. He looks close enough to the thing. Whereas, of course, Helen of Troy, well, there we go.
You're going to make it applied to the superhero suit argument, right? Yeah, we've seen a bunch of different iterations of the Superman suit, and everyone that come out is going to be some version of blue with yellow and red in it. Maybe it'll have a belt, maybe it'll have the trunks, whatever. So you have all these arguments within the realm of acceptable tolerance of something that's being adapted from something else. Yeah. If you came out the Superman suit was fucking pink, everybody would lose their shit.
Yes.
Would that have any like that's the thing? Would that in John's mind, if the Superman suit was pink, would it have any noticeable impact on the story or whatever? People would really fucking care about it though, wouldn't they?
This is just how the fucking internet is. When Ben Affleck was cast as Batman, that was one of the biggest controversies I've ever fucking seen. And it had nothing to do with his skin color. It had everything to do with Ben Affleck was too fucking famous. And guess what? All those people that bitched, most of them ended up liking Ben Affleck after the movie came out. But it was a huge uproar about that. I know people bring Ledger up and all of that, but
Michael Keaton before that.
Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, when he was announced, everybody says he's too tall, he's too thin, who the fuck is this? Like, it's happened in various amount of reasons. There's reasons why people are complaining about this, and it's justified. And for him to not even acknowledge what the source of the problem is my big problem with this video.
It's a bold-faced lie. For him to be in the sphere that he's in for as long as he has been in, and to say that people don't get mad at little changes like that is ridiculous. That's a straight-up lie.
Mm-hmm.
And boycott the film before we've ever seen a single frame of it, except
we've seen the trailer
for when race is the preference. That's when the reaction shifts from a mild preference to an all-out culture war, which tells you exactly what the real issue is. Now let's take a second and talk about inconsistency.
Was that one of us, apparently? Is that what that was? Like,
let's just hold on. I have to scroll down a little bit on my prompt there.
Let's go back on that one.
If just for the sake of argument, you take it to 100% true, and like every single person, every single argument is only down to the race of Helen of Troy, doesn't that mean it'd be a really bad idea to make that decision? That's a really awful business decision. You should doesn't matter. You don't have to agree with the audience. You do have to give them what they want. I don't need you to agree with me, but if you want to be profitable, that's probably what you should be doing. The argument doesn't work.
We didn't.
None of this is really an argument.
Oh no, a culture war has been started because of the race of Helen of Troy. Yeah, well, why did you not choose an actor who looks appropriate then?
Yeah.
Especially if she has a really small part in it. It actually gets worse the smaller her part is, because then you've caused all of this drama for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. And Disbrew mentioned it earlier. Give me your argument for her.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to sell me.
To an all-out culture war, which tells you exactly what the real issue is. Now let's take a second.
I like how he made that guy white.
It's only white people that are angry white guys.
How do you feel about his Sons of Anarchy jacket in the background there?
He's had that since the AMC days. They used to call like his AMC movie talk like Sons of AMC or some bullshit like that. So my thing was, John, get on a motorcycle and ride that around. Let's see how it go for you. Let's see.
Just walk into a biker bar and record it. That's all I want.
How do you do, fellow bikers?
Having goalposts. The sheer inconsistency of this outrage becomes incredibly obvious when you look at how these same crowds react to other massive changes made to beloved source materials. They constantly move the goalposts to fit their outrage. Take the upcoming Harry Potter HBO series, for example. I've talked about this before. The internet lit up with anger when it was announced that a black actor would be portraying Severus Snape, with people screaming that it was a betrayal of the books because they are changing the character. But where was that absolute burning rage when the original film adaptations cast Alan Rickman? And don't get me wrong, Alan Rickman's the man. He was absolutely magnificent as Snape, and we
positive thing that audience will agree with.
Let's love his performance.
Let him land the plane.
Let him. Factually speaking, Severus Snape is 31 years old in the book. Alan Rickman was in his mid-50s, literally decades older than he is in the book when he started playing the role. That is a massive fundamental deviation from the source material that completely shifts the timeline and dynamics of the characters.
It's so massive. Everybody shut the fuck up, because he is correct. And in fact, people that are massive fans of the book have been talking about this. And even though in the movies, Alan Rickman is beloved for his portrayal, it is a different character. He does not play book Severus Snape. He's too traditionally attractive. We'll say, I don't think Alan Rickman's the most handsome guy in the world, but he's far too traditionally attractive to play Snape, period. This is actually something that hardcore book fans have been talking about, have been complaining about, but there are things that are within tolerance for the characters we've talked about a lot. Yeah. That's such a stupid, retarded thing to bring up, because clearly you're not that big of a fan, John Campea, or you would know that people have been talking about that and how this show would have been the opportunity to do Snape justice to the actual character he was in the book. As much as you might love Alan Rickman's portrayal, it is a different Severus Snape, not only in age, but also in temperament.
And he also looks more like the character than black fucking Snape. And again, John Campea, you're stepping, hang on, Disbrew, you're stepping into an area you know nothing about. Harry Potter fandom, the vast majority of the Harry Potter fandom, again, brought this up and is against black Snape. You know, you haven't read any of these books. You're not tuned into any of this fandom. And that's why, I don't know, everybody here can give our arguments without reading fucking Chat GPT.
There's another historical example of this as well. Like Joaquin Phoenix playing Napoleon. Napoleon was like 23 when he began his campaigns. Joaquin Phoenix was 48 playing it, and it showed. So it was like, okay. And obviously everyone who's a history nerd that I know fucking hated Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon. Not because he didn't do a great job as it, actually, I've got to say. I really wasn't impressed. But he was just an old man. Whereas Napoleon was a young guy who was given charge of an artillery corps.
But also he's complaining about the age. But actually, the problems that Black Snake brings to this, and I know nothing about the books. It's not a big thing to me. But when everyone else talks about the problems, they're talking about, well, it entirely changes the source material. So now this guy's going to get lynched under a tree. We didn't have lynchings in the UK. It doesn't fit in an English story at all, in the British story at all. So you are bringing foreign cultural issues into a domestic situation where it doesn't exist. Like if you had Helen of Troy be black, it's going to bring African things into a foreign culture. Like the age is the least of the problems with that regard.
There's a lot of people in this sphere that can speak from experience through reading the books multiple times on this subject. Dude has to look it up on Chat GPT. He doesn't understand that thematically this will change the story.
Yeah.
Like it fundamentally changes the story, especially later on. You're not going to notice it as much in every time you see Black Snape, you're going to notice it. But in the first season of this show, he's not in it that much. He becomes a much more important part of the story, and that race will come up, and it will change how you look at Harry's parents, at Harry, at a lot of the kids in the school.
The first book, though, the kids are instantly suspicious. The kids are like, who is this dark man over here? It's Harry.
So this was a bad example to bring up. This was
it really is.
Example, and it's just blatant whataboutism. Oh, you guys didn't complain about this when it's not. This is a false equivalences drawing as well.
Examples are bad because he has no argument, and that's the whole point. There's no argument, as you guys said earlier. Make an argument for her to be black.
Yeah.
Make a direct argument for her to be black, and they can't. Nobody can actually make an argument for that. It's a mistake. It's okay. You can call it a mistake, but that's what it is.
I think they could give you the reasons why, but the reasons why they're doing it would be so horrific like then to actually state them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We hate white people and we want them dead.
Yes. That was literally, we wanted to throw you from your own culture. It's like, well,
yeah. Yet, there was no widespread boycott, no accusations of an agenda, and no full-scale outrage over a 20-plus year age gap. Why do we object so violently to one specific type of physical difference from the source material while we completely ignore another completely different physical description from the source material?
Because it's completely different.
About it.
Because some things are different, John. I don't know if we did explain that to you. It's a very different thing to change somebody's entire race than to be a little older. And
it's about
even in the story, they don't make him older. They just kind of don't acknowledge that he's older.
Don't acknowledge it, yeah.
You don't need as much in-depth knowledge of it to realize this character is white, this character is black. Look, I was on stream with Metatron on Open Bar yesterday, and I told him, you remember when you were on F&T and we were talking about all the changes to the armor and all that shit, and I made the statement, look, I get where you're coming from when it comes to the armor, why Shad's upset about it, because you guys are experts, but 99% of people are probably not going to be able to pick up that this shouldn't have been around during this time period. But you know what? If this rumor about Helen of Troy being fucking black, if that turns out to be real, that's really going to be a controversy, because you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to have studied it forever. You don't need to be the biggest fan of it to know that she wasn't fucking black. That is blatantly fucking obvious. We're talking about the same things. A lot of people may not have been aware that Snape was that young in the books, but they know
also,
what he looks like.
Yes,
it's not implausible that there's an older teacher. Yeah, okay. The teacher's like 45 or whatever Snape was. Okay, yeah, he's not 45 in the books. But a teacher being 45 is not like something that takes me out of the story. Like the issue really is that I know the intention as to why you've made this change. You have done this because you hate me. You have done this because you think it immiserates me in some ephemeral, intangible way. You think you are reducing me when you do it. That's why it's been done. And that's why I didn't care about fucking Snape being 20 years older, because I know that wasn't the intention. They were just like, we love Alan Rickman. He'd be great as this character. Oh, he's a bit old. Oh, no one will care. Come on, let's just get on with it, because Alan Rickman's great. No, you're choosing this African woman because you hate me because I'm white. That's why you're doing this.
That is a perfect answer. Perfect answer.
And Carl has just revealed the actual equation that's at play, because, John is being brought up that equation where it's like black person, equals movie bad. No, that's not how people are now actually identifying what's really happening here. They see a race swap, and that identifies an agenda. And at the core of that agenda is that they hate us. That's the equation.
They're going to be provocative and subversive. That's what it's a red flag for.
And this
they have said over and over again.
This is not a theory. This is what they have said themselves. Hollywood people, the writers, the producers, actors, directors, everybody, they've said these things. We want to subvert history. We want to change these things. They've said all these things.
Yeah. And a great point of comparison is the movie Zulu, right? About Battle of Rorke's Drift, I think it is. That in both in that movie, right? It's a historical movie about a battle that the British did win, but only just, against a Zulu tribe, a Zulu attack, right? But both sides are portrayed respectfully in this film. And so everyone comes away thinking, wow, everyone in that was fucking heroic. Everyone in this battle was just like, really taking it and giving it, and everything was crazy. No one came away thinking, yeah, haha, I'm supposed to hate the Zulus. No one came away from it. Because the filmmakers obviously weren't trying to denigrate the Zulus. They were trying to represent them respectfully and accurately. And if that was what they were trying to do, and it was like, okay, but we couldn't find a blonde-haired woman to play Helen of Troy for some reason, so we've chosen a brunette, sorry, but look how good-looking this woman is, and she's such a great actress, blah, blah, blah. It'd be fine, everyone would move on, but that's not what's happening.
No, and it's obvious.
How history and the art treat the portrayal of Jesus, for example. For centuries, in countless massive Hollywood epics, the traditional paintings, Jesus has been portrayed by white European actors with blue eyes, which is historically and geographically impossible for a first-century Jewish man from the Middle East.
Wait, hold the phone.
That's not true. That's not true. Like, I don't know why he would say that. Like, I mean,
he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's like, look at Gal Gadot. I mean, she's not exactly dark.
Look at Bashar al-Assad. Like, he's blue-eyed and white-skinned. Look at Firas at the Load Seaters. He's got green eyes and white skin. He's from Lebanon. Like, Middle Easterners does not mean brown.
No,
he's racist. John Campea is racist. And if you just apply what he just said about that, Jesus to Helen of Troy, a woman from a specific origin, that it would be impossible for her to be, from Sparta, unless there was, Thomas Jefferson stuff going on. But you keep applying his argument to the argument of Helen and Troy. He keeps undercutting it.
Yeah.
Does.
This is
like,
go ahead, Shaq.
he keeps bringing up just such massive false equivalences, trying to say that, like, pretend that what is saying even has any merit at all, that Jesus Christ, he's been portrayed a couple of shades too white and he should have had a bit more of a tan. That is minor. That is nowhere near equivalent to casting Jesus Christ as a black character. A massive visual disparity and difference there.
Or
that is trying
Riva.
to throw an equivalence in, which is just it's just so disingenuous. Every argument that is making here is utterly stupid.
It's a master class in how you can avoid addressing the issue while making yourself look stupid over and over and over again. And I just looked at the video, the pinned comment that he left on this video. He says two things. First, don't comment if you haven't seen the video. Second, for those who who want to insist that the Odyssey is bad because they didn't use Greek actors, please make sure to include links to where you denounce Gladiator for using an Aussie to play a Roman general, and links to your post demanding Mel Gibson fire the white, blue-eyed dude from Finland to play Jesus in The Passion of Christ. I look forward to your links. Oh my God.
But where is the logical continuation of that? It's like, if I go, all dogs have 4 legs, he says, well, some have 3. Therefore, Helen of Troy must be black. Like, where is the logical continuation of this argument?
It's the meme of just digging the hole deeper. Holy shit.
I can get a backhoe.
Just random
outrage demanding historical and source material accuracy here. It doesn't exist because that specific change doesn't trigger their cultural anxieties.
No.
We even saw this years ago with the
because it's not a big change. It's not like you'll bring up minor things that are not equivalent, John.
But it's not a change that's done to try and hurt my culture. Why would I be feeling cultural anxiety? It's because I know my culture has been under attack for decades now.
Yeah.
That's why.
And the only reason why people bring up the Greek argument about Greek actors is because they're so hell-bent on representation. In this instance, they're completely ignoring it. Yeah. Nobody really fucking cares that there aren't any actual Greek actors in it. It's that we're using their argument against them.
No.
Yes.
Also, he tries to say that, like, Australians don't have any European heritage. Mate,
yeah.
you guys Russell Crowe probably has
you've got loads of criminals in you.
You moron. Like, it's like, oh no, he was an Aussie. He can't play a Greek. Are you like
because he looks the part and he can put on an accent. It doesn't matter what kind of accent Lupita Nyong'o puts on unless they fucking paint her face, right? Exactly. Unless they go whiteface or whatever, she can't pass for the character she's playing. And Sargon's right.
Exactly.
Like we are talking about minor changes, but even when there's major changes, if it doesn't feel like there's anything nefarious or insidious about it, we can talk about it. We can have arguments about it. And that's what we do for a ton of movies and a ton of adaptations and a ton of IPs. But there's certain things that there is no other logical conclusion other than there was some sort of insidious intent behind why these things happen. And those are the things that make people more mad than anything else.
The remake of Battlestar Galactica, my all-time favorite television show. When Ronald D. Moore announced the project, a massive wave of fans threw a tantrum because Starbuck was being changed from a man to a woman, being portrayed by our beloved Katie Sackhoff. They claimed it ruined the integrity of the original show. But it's fascinating to note that those exact same outraged fans didn't say a single word about the fact that Colonel Ty, who was played by a black actor, Terry Carter, in the original series, was changed to a white actor, Michael Hogan, in the remake. And he was awesome in it.
We brought it up and
silence on
race swap too.
Yes, we did.
And gender swap.
These generalizations saying not a single word. What did you ask every single person that's a fan of?
Yeah, please leave a link, John. Please leave a link. Every single person.
No, but he also destroyed his entire argument. He's like, when Starbuck was first announced, there was a huge backlash against her. But now she's a really beloved character of the entire series because she proved herself to be worthy of the part. 100%. Therefore, it proves that people aren't actually that bothered about it if you're good. So it's like, well, your argument should be, well, wait Now, I don't somehow think that she's going to be good as Helen of Troy, but you'd be like, well, at least maybe she'll prove a point.
The goalposts are constantly being moved. A change to a character is completely fine and ignored right up until it involves a person of color taking on a traditionally white role.
Yes.
Now, look, when
So
you
you shouldn't
strip
change it,
away
yeah.
all the
Yes,
excuses,
we can call that out because of the motivation behind it.
Correct.
turns over historical accuracy and the deeply flawed arguments, it brings us to a very simple conclusion. When the race, gender, or physical appearance of a fictional or mythological character is not absolutely vital to that character's core story, motivations, or narrative themes, we need to step back. We need to stop the preemptive outrage, let go of the rigid gatekeeping, and allow directors and filmmakers the creative freedom to cast whoever they believe is the best performer for the job.
No,
okay. Why?
Hollywood has made it to where directors can't cast who the fuck they want. They have killed the creative process. They have done this, and this is what has led us to this place. And the fact that he sits there and mentions that shit and doesn't acknowledge the overarching agenda in Hollywood directly from the fucking Academy on their fucking website is so disingenuous. Fuck off, Campea.
And also, maybe, I mean, this would still be retarded if we were just talking about fictional or mythological characters. They are race swapping real life fucking people in the entertainment industry. They're race swapping real historical figures in
Anne
European
Boleyn.
culture and every culture. Like, what are we
swapped Anne Boleyn.
Cleopatra, that one Viking.
That Viking king.
Yeah. Like, they're doing this to actual people in history, not just mythological or fictional characters, which the argument still would fall flat there. But they're doing it with real people.
We won't rest until Ryan Kendall is cast as Martin Luther King. I want to hear that speech.
In this entire video, he hasn't actually given a reason why you should do this. He said that throughout all of this, if you race swap somebody, you get huge backlash. And then he just goes, so you've got to accept it. It's like, no, if anything, you've proved why you should not do this because there's going to be huge backlash. Yeah. You haven't said why everyone should change their mind. You've just said if you change them, you're going to have a huge problem. Well, obviously, don't do the thing causing the problem then.
Well, okay, what he's trying to drive to is it's racism. Okay, this is his
but
large circular argument around to get back to racism.
Argue why Lupita Nyong'o is the best person for this job.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear it.
Gary. Racism.
Specifically,
why is it going to make you money?
He's literally just asking you to give up.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Yes.
No, fuck yourself. Delete your fucking channel. I don't care you. I don't know who this fucking guy is. You know, I've never seen him before in my life. I'm not just going to stop having these objections to the deconstruction of my culture. You fucking chud. Fuck off.
Well, it's like. What was it? Was it Wall Street Bets that said I can remain retarded longer than you can remain solvent?
Yes. It's my job to be this retarded.
I am always anticipating whatever Sargon's final word is. So he says chud, dummy, and there was an F word you said earlier to end a sentence. Like, what did you say? It's like it wasn't fuck. It was a 4-letter F word. It was, and everybody in the chat was like, "What the fuck did he say?" I don't even
remember.
Jesus, He said fuck off.
Liberty Gibbet.
Flid. You said flid. I don't know what that means.
It means someone affected by thalidomide.
Okay.
Oh.
It's an English school playground insult from when I was a teenager.
I love it. It sounds so elevated. Kyle is bringing some big proper English culture.
What do you guys call gay people? Poofs or something?
Yeah.
Poofs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they've got that in Australia too.
It's nice to have British representation on. We've never had that on.
Finally.
No, never.
I am willing to play Martin Luther King Jr., by the way.
But going back to Campea, what he's essentially rendering his argument down to now is it doesn't matter. Like, that's all it comes down to. Why are you upset? It doesn't matter. Let them do what they want to do. Let the Hollywood creators. And it's like, and again, the ultimate counter is what Gary said. If it doesn't matter, why change it? It's such a stupid.
You've given no arguments.
I actually agree. Let every filmmaker have their creative vision and let the market determine the market. And I guarantee you that if you let everybody have their own individual vision then the market will certainly determine the market. And if you bring race-swapped bullshit into historical stories, those are going to fail. And you're going to have other people that are going to be making more historically accurate shit with their vision. Hollywood doesn't allow that.
Christopher Nolan didn't cast Lupita Nyong'o to check a box or fulfill an internet agenda.
Yes, he did.
He cast her because he is Christopher Nolan.
Sir? John, how do you know? You don't know.
Provide a link.
Send me links to everything you know about your life to prove you know this answer, John. I look forward to the links that you're going to send.
And he believes she was the absolute best actress to bring his vision of this character to life. When the Odyssey finally does hit theaters, I might love it, or I might walk out of the theater completely disliking it. Christopher Nolan is a genius, but even geniuses make movies that don't land with everybody. I personally did not love Tenet all that much, but if I do,
you're so stunning and
like the
brave.
film.
Yeah,
you didn't like the Christopher Nolan movie with a black male lead.
Black lead, yeah.
And looking at your history with Transformers and reading super chats, I'm starting to see a pattern here, John.
He is 2 videos away from saying Helen of Detroit at the moment.
To you right now that my opinion will be based on the script, the pacing, the directing, and the quality of the storytelling. It will have absolutely nothing to do with the color of Helen of Troy's skin. Let's stop judging movies based on an online agenda. Wait until the lights go down.
He can piss right off, because what do we do? Like these are red flags, right? When we see race swaps and everything, these are red flags. But we have such a good track record of judging films on their merits when it comes out. From House of the Dragon to Master of the Universe to Dungeons and Dragons and also Rings of Power, right? Like even when Rings of Power came out, most of us were saying that the lady who played the Black Dwarf wasn't the worst part of the thing, right? And then it went off the rails. Like this is utter bullcrap. What it's trying to say here, that we just hate on movies because of bad. No, the bad race swaps and everything like that, those are the red flags. But when the film comes out, all of us judge it on its merits. Yeah. So he can also piss off with that.
But also, what if I just want to? Like, what? Yeah, but he's like, let's not collect it. Yeah, I don't know who you fucking are, bro. I'm going to judge it however I like to judge it. Why can't I? What actually stops me? What happens if I do? Right, and that reveals the heart of his issue. He's not trying to actually defend the film. He's trying to get you to stop being a racist. Right, he's trying to stop you from having an ethnic preference or particularity. That's what this all boils down to. That's why this was done. That's why this film has been made. That's why he's made this video. He's actually interested in changing the way you think.
And to be fair to Argon, I had a couple of family members in Alabama that were really, really racist, and then they watched an NFL game and it said "End racism" in the end zone, and they stopped. They stopped. Wow. They're like, "We love black people now." It was amazing. I was like, "Oh man, it worked."
They were still married to their cousin.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem though. That's a different thing.
Campea is under the impression that he created the movie space here on YouTube. And he feels like channels like Geeks and Gamers and Drinker and others have invaded his space, and he wants us to go away. That's
he wants you to think like
John. Guess what, John? We're gonna do what we've been doing for centuries. We're gonna colonize your ass, bitch. That's what happened in the movie space. And you know what? It's better off, isn't it?
It is. We gave it a power grid. We gave it roads.
Yeah. But also, does this strike you as a video done from someone who thinks they're winning? Is this really a common thing? Someone begging somebody to stop talking and making counter arguments doesn't really sound secure.
Write it out and read it from a script. This brew.
Apparently AI script, because it keeps saying load bearer.
Yes.
In the theater and judge the work on its actual merits. And listen, I want to end with this. This shouldn't be an us versus them or an us versus you sort of situation.
Here we go.
We're all movie fans, all of us.
You racist?
All of us.
We're all great except for you, Ray.
Oh, God, exactly. That's a hell of a pause.
He implies everyone that disagrees with him is a racist. Yeah, that's a good face.
You know
he implies everyone who is ticked off about race swaps, they're racist, right? And that they're all bigot and everything like that. But then it's like trying to like, oh, but we're all on the same side. It's like, no, you hate us. We know that you hate us. Don't try and play this thing to it.
But this entire video has been about how he is polar opposite to me. Like, that is his statement, that I need to stop being me so I can be more like him. And he's like, no, we're just the same. Oh,
I'd rather not be Canadian.
That's a bad freeze frame.
It is.
Far more in common than we don't. We all love thrilling action, great storytelling, being made to feel things only a great movie can make us feel. We all agree on that.
Thanks.
So let's allow our directors to make the movies they want to make. Go see them together, and then like them or not like them based on the experience we had watching.
That's what we do.
Oh, okay. So key thing, he says, go see them. How about no? How about like if it does things that we don't like, we don't go see it, and it can piss off and lose money.
Well, okay, this is like the biggest issue I have with these arguments. It's like there's trailers for a reason. Trailers make you want to go see a movie or don't see a movie based off of what you see in that. It's like, well, how can you judge the movie? You haven't seen it yet. Yes, but I've seen the trailer, and that makes me not want to see the movie.
It's the meme of the guy about to shit on the plate, and he's like, how do you know it's going to be shit? It's not even out yet.
Exactly.
It's coming out of a colon, mate.
Yeah. And you know, all of us here have seen trailers or seen promotion and been like, I don't know, and then gone in and been surprised.
Exactly.
That, like, we actually might have enjoyed
Top
the movie.
Gun Maverick's a classic example.
We've also seen trailers that were like, this fucking looks sick, and you get hyped for it, and then you go there and you're like, it's kind of a fucking letdown, right? That happens. That always happens. And you know, hopefully you're an honest person. You'll admit if you were wrong or you were surprised by this or this was letting you down. Like that's ultimately what it's all about. But the idea that we shouldn't judge anything before it comes out harshly, but you should let yourself get hyped up for things, right? You can only go one way for a lot of these access guys.
Yes.
And I would consider John an access guy. You're allowed to get hyped up and excited and tell people to go see it, but you're not allowed to get upset about that same thing. If you're upset about it, you just have to shut your fucking mouth and wait for the movie to come out. It's okay to get hyped before you've seen anything, but it's not okay to criticize.
And in addition to what you're saying, it's like you're perfectly justified if you see something in a trailer or promotional material that pisses you off and not going to watch it. Like if I wasn't reviewing Odyssey, all the crap, all the race swaps, all the red flags, I would not personally go out and watch this at the cinemas. And a classic example, the recent Robin Hood film that had Hugh Jackman in it, right? That made Robin Hood out to be a horrible villain. Robin Hood is one of my childhood heroes. I love him as a hero. That trailer pissed me off. I'll never go watch that film just for what I was saying. And it might be good. It might be a good film. But because of how it took a massive steaming dump on a character I loved in the trailer and the promotional material, that movie can piss off. And that's where I'm at with that.
It is a deconstruction, Chad. What we saw in the trailer, we're pretty much right.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that was the meme where I could see the crap coming out. I know it's going to be crap. I don't need to watch it to find out. And turns out, very likely I was right, even having not watched it. And so John is like saying, no, you have to watch it. No, we don't. We don't. John.
No, I don't.
No. You can watch a movie or judge it however the fuck you want.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.